We see lanyards on swords throughout Chinese history, dating as far back as the Han Dynasty with the introduction of the ring pommel dao. The ring itself served as an excellent anchor to tie on a lanyard loop, which could be used for decorative accessories, as seen on this Sui Tang era sword that was found with a crystal pig decoration tied to it. However, the most common use and a very important reason to have a lanyard on your sword was for a very practical purpose: to keep the sword in your hand. In this video, I want to cover a couple of methods of using a lanyard to secure your sword. Each method has a distinct purpose and a benefit in usage, and we'll take a look at them individually. Now, before we dive in, I do want to mention that using lanyards on swords was not exclusive to Dao. In fact, lanyards were tied onto many short weapons like Jian, hammers, axes, and Jian, as in sword breakers. Another thing to note is that the popularity of lanyards led to various anchoring points, as not all swords had a ring pommel. Some other designs consist of open pommels, rings attached to the handle or pommel, and even holes drilled through the handle. So now that we've seen where lanyards were anchored, let's talk about how they were actually used. Now, first and foremost, the main reason for the lanyard was to keep from dropping the sword in combat. By simply slipping your hand through the loop, you could easily wield the sword in combat, and in the case that your sword was knocked from your hand or you simply lost your grip, the sword wouldn't go far and would be caught by the lanyard, which allowed for quick recovery. The beauty about this method is that it doesn't limit or inhibit any kind of movement. It just acts as a safety net and can easily be worn or taken off. And although this method can effectively stop the drop, it doesn't address another issue that was common with the Dao and wasn't resolved for nearly 500 years. So what was this element that caused this issue? Or should I say, lack of element? Dating back to the Han Dynasty, the common design for the Dao was with a very small or pretty much no guard. Now, this may have rooted from how the sword was worn on the hip, keeping it flat against the leg. Or it's also been speculated to be from a combative emphasis on cutting rather than thrusting techniques. But being that all sabers have a sharp point, cut and not thrust was likely not an absolute rule, and based on typical battlefield configurations and side-by-side troops, realistically, thrusting was in fact quite common. This lack of hand stop would absolutely be a risk for the hand sliding up and onto the blade when contacting with a solid target. But there are different ways of using the lanyard to prevent that, and that's where we get into the no-slip grip. One of the best ways to keep the hand from slipping forward onto the blade with the lanyard is to simply insert just the fingers into the loop, pull it taut, and then grasp the handle of the sword. This will keep the hand secure and in place when thrusting without the risk of sliding up the blade. Not only is this a good method for keeping your hand from slipping up onto the blade, but it reinforces the grip when thrusting, so you can actually have potentially more piercing power. Now, this is not solely made for just thrusting techniques. In fact, this is just a great way to keep your sword in your hand when you're doing regular cutting techniques, and similar to the first technique, this allows you to recover a dropped sword. The only downside is it can slip out of the hand a little bit easier than when you have it all the way around the wrist. It has to work around a little bit more mass, but all in all, if you're holding onto the sword like this, it secures quite well. I have also found that the best tension requires some tailoring to the loop size, so you will have to test out and see how much room you actually need to get a firm grip. One that doesn't pull your hand away from the handle, as well as one that is not too loose and allows your hand to slide up the blade. It is worth your time to find the proper length and tie a secure knot. And one thing to keep in mind is that with ring pommel Dao, it will rotate and it can potentially move up the handle this way, so it may change the length and reach of your loop. So do keep these in mind. But it is worth your time because this has so much to reinforce your piercing and your thrusting techniques, as well as your cutting techniques, that this really should be your go-to lanyard position. And it's not just limited to ring pommel Dao. This works with all types of different Dao and anchoring methods. In fact, I would even go as far to say that this is the most important way of using the lanyard, especially when you have a sword with little to no guard. The final method that I want to cover in this video is very similar to the last method we worked on and the no-slip grip. However, instead of inserting just the fingers for this gripping configuration, we're actually only going to insert the thumb. The key to looping the thumb is to allow the lanyard to hang down naturally. Then with the palm up, slide the thumb into the lanyard and pull it back so it's now taut. Then use your fingers to jump over the lanyard and start to roll the hand inward. This will allow the lanyard to cover the back of the hand and secure the hand to the blade when gripping. And once you grab the sword, you're going to feel the lanyard actually clamp your hand for a very secure grip. Now, this functions just the same as our no-slip grip. It does really reinforce for cutting and thrusting, but I've noticed that it allows a little bit more play in moving up, so it may not be the most secure hand stop, but if you're using a sword with a guard, this is not an issue. And one of the things that you do need to keep in mind is your lanyard will actually be much longer than with the other gripping positions, because we have a lot more room that we're going to cover when it goes over the palm. All right, so there you have it. 3 ways of keeping your sword. Now, these are all quite easy to do and very practical, no matter if your application is going to be through forms training or traditional technique practice, or you're using your sword for target cutting. All the swords that you have seen in this video can be found at lkchensword.com, and I will leave links for each sword in the description below. All right, well, I hope you found this video to be quite useful, and I would love to hear your thoughts about securing your sword using a lanyard and any other methods if you know something that I didn't cover. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.